welcome to Indie Live's Poetry Open Mic Spot.
Hallowe'en special.
From The Haunted Wood by Isaac McLellan. It is said that the spirits of buried men oft come to this wicked world again, that the churchyard turf is often trod by the unlaid tenants of tomb and sod, that the midnight sea itself is swept by those who have long beneath it slept. And they say of this old mossy wood, whose hoary trunks have for ages stood, that every knoll and dim-lit glade is haunted at night by its restless shade.
I'm Angus Shoor Caan, aka Hairy Hans. Rowan's was out for their Hallowe'en, one her undressed as a ruptured spleen. She was caked in red mud, and it looked like dried blood. Opened my front door and I turned green. It was enough to make the audience scream. Weans out on the prowl for their Hallowe'en. They carried hollowed out pumpkins and neeps, tried their best to give everybody the creeps. A much scarier sight you'll never have seen.
Appropriately, the poet is Robert Graves, A Child's Nightmare. Through long nursery nights he stood, by my bed unwearying, loomed gigantic, formless, queer, purring in my haunted ear. That same hideous nightmare thing, talking as he lapped my blood, and in a cruel voice and flat, saying forever, cat, cat, cat.
Picture the scene. It was last Hallowe'en. I looked a fair treat, as a ghost in a white sheet, and my bird was a vampire queen. I'll cry in for my wee friend. We're going out for our Hallowe'en. To counter the frost, I'm gone as a ghost, a better guise that you've never seen. If yous could picture the scene, I'm out for my Hallowe'en. I'm done up as a ghost, but I very near got lost up there at the top of the scheme.
All Hallows Eve. It was All Hallows Eve, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except a wee moose. It stirred a great cauldron to left and to right, in circles increasing neath a full moon's light. She dropped in a hair from the household's cat, and twitching her whiskers, in the mixture she spat. The gloopy stuff bubbled, and as the witching hour chimed, she removed her goggles, stood apart, and eerily rhymed, "Begone, the cat, chase me nae mair. May ye turn to stain when next ye dare." Then yon sleekit moosie, with mickle sharp teeth, ripped open a packet of kitty cat treats. With a well-crafted ladle from an acorn's cup, she doused those cat treaties for that mog to lap up. Dousing the flames with the rest of the mix, wee Mousie took the ashes for future anti-cat tricks. And as the dawn showed o'er the moose's hoose, she curled up, smirking, the rest you may deduce. Reflect on this tale, and perhaps think thrice, before ever pissing off the mice.
Brilliant!
We went out for our Halloween, better dressed than we've ever been. The bird was a mortician, and I was a politician. We'll set for to pick yous all clean. I'm just in my dressing gown, and I'm pacing up and down. Last night was Halloween, my wee cat's no been seen, sin a witch blacked out the moon.
This is Halloween poem by Rowan, age 9. The pumpkins are out, the cauldron is brewing, the costume makers are doing some sewing. We all dipped some apples and we all went gazing. In the distance, the full moon is rising.
Shanter. When Chapman Billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, well, we sit boozing at the nappy, and getting fou and unca happy. We think no on the lang Scotch smiles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our aim, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brews like a gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fund honest Tam o' Shanter, as he, frae air, Nick did canter. All there, wham there a tune surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, had thou but been so wise as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee well there was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that frae November to October, ae market day, thou wasna sober. That ilka melder with a miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller. That every naig was called a shoon, the smith and thee got roaring through on. And at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, ye drank with Curtin Jean to Monday. She prophesied that late or soon ye'd be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the milk by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how mony counsel sweet, how mony lengthened sage advises the husband for the wife despises. But to our tale. Ae market nicht, Tam had got planted uncorrect, fast by an ingle, blazing finely, where Raymond Swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient, trusty, drouthy crony. Tam looed him like a very brother. They'd been through for weeks together. The nick drave on with sangs and cattle, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus, the storm without, nick rare and rustle. Tam didna mind the storm a whistle, care, mad to see a man sae happy. E'en drowned hissel a man when happy. As bees flee hame wi' lades of treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread, you seize the flower, the bloom is shed, or like the snow falls on a river, a moment white, then melts forever. or like the body Angus race that flit every can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amid the storm. Nae man can terror time nor tide. The hour approaches tam and ride. That hour in it black earth's the keystane, that dreary hour tam mounts his beast in, and sick in it he tacks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blown its last. The rattling showers rose on the blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed. Loud, deep, and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand. The deil had business on his hand. Well mounted on his grey mare, Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst hudding fast his gid blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round wi' prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Hallow was drawing nigh, where guests and hoolits neckly cry. But this time he was cross the ford, where in the snaw the chapman smored, and by the birk and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie Bracksneck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters fund the murdered bairn, and by the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him doon pours all his floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods, the lightning flash fae pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll. When, glimmering through the groaning trees, Hallow seemed in a blaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers canst thou make us scorn? Wi' tippenny, we fear nae evil. Wi' Usquaby, we'd face the devil. The swat serreamed in Tammy's nordle, fair play, he cared nae deals a bodle, but Maggie stood, recht sair astonished, till, by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward in the licht. And wow! Tam saw an anchasect. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion brent new frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape o' beast, a towsy type, black, grim and large. To gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart and skirl to roof and rafters o' the dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that showed the deed in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip slicht, each in its cold hand held a licht, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the hairy table a murderer's banes in gibbet airns, twa span lang wee unchristened bairns, a thief new cut it frae a rape wi' his last gasp, its gabbed and cape, 5 tomahawks wi' blood red rusted, 5 scimitars wi' murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son o' life bereft, the grey hairs yet stuck to the heft. Wi' mair, o horrible an offer, that even to name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they creaked, till ilk Caan swat and reeted, and kissed her duddies to the wark, and linkete in her sark. O Tam, Had they been queens, all plump and strapping in their teens, their sarks, instead of creasy flannin, been snaw white 1700 linen. Their breeks of mine, my only pair, that yence were plush with good blue hair, I'd ha' gied them off my hardies, for ae blink with the bonny birdies. But whether bedlams, auld and droll, rigged with the hags would Spain a fall, louting and flinging on a crummock. It's a wonder it didn't turn thy stomach. But Tam kenned what was what fu brawly. There was ae winsome wench and Wally, that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned on Carrick shore, for mony a beast did she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and beer, and held the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark, o' Paisley Harn, which, as a lassie she had won, in longitude, though sorely scanty, 'twas her best, and she was vanty. Ah, little kenned thy reverend granny, the sark she coughed for her wee Nanny, with twa pun Scots, 'twas a' her riches, would ever graced a dance of witches. But here my muse her wingman cour, sick flights are far beyond her poor, to sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple jade she was, and strang, and how Tam stood like in bewitched, and thought he's very enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu shane, and hooked and blew wi' micht and main, till first keeper, saying her, Tam tint his reason altogether, and roars out, "Weel done, cutty sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had the Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied, as bees bezoot wi' angry fyke, when plundering hares assail their bike, as open pussies mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' mony an eldritch screech and hollow. O Tam, you'll get your fern, in hell they'll roast you like a hern. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and gain the keysting o' the brig. There at them thy tail may toss, a running stream they darena cross. But ere the keysting she could make, the feint, the tail she had to shake, for Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little wist Maggie's mettle, ae spring brought off her master hail, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, wha this tale of truth shall read, each man and mither's sin, take heed, whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind. Think, ye may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember Tam o' Shanter's mare.